Hello, I'm Robin Gibson, and this is the Harvard House Money Morsel. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell so we get a notification when we release a new video. Sitting today again with Michael Porter. Morning, Michael. Chilly morning.
Yeah, it is a bit chilly.
So
dressed up like a polar bear.
Yes, I see that. Michael, we've kind of woken up to the news that the ANC is going to pursue this government of national unity. Now, I mean, we always very, very clearly tell people we're not political analysts. It's not our area of strength. And we can't really say what's going to happen because there's a lot of water that's got to go under the bridge. But would you like to speculate?
After all that you just said, no, not really. But yeah, Robin, it's really interesting times, and I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen, unfortunately. So we're in this period of limbo, we're in this period of uncertainty. But having said that, I mean, a government of national unity sounds a bit to us, maybe like more of the same. I mean, you're going to have some sort of agreements. You're going to have debate in Parliament. Parties will be involved. I mean, I think on the plus side, I mean, what has happened out of these elections is that the risk of changes to the Constitution must now recede dramatically. I mean, no real grouping has got sufficient power to push that agenda, and I don't think that there's agenda there. So I think from that point of view, a worst case scenario, massive changes in policy has probably been avoided. Let's hope so. I mean, having said that, going forward, I think what happens behind the scenes in government will probably just continue. There's obviously going to be some changes in ministers. We might get some ministers from different parties that might drive a slightly more aggressive agenda. I do think the ANC is under enormous pressure to deliver over the next couple of years. Otherwise, the writing's on the wall for the next election. They become more and more relevant. So I do think that, one would hope that the reform agenda would continue and maybe even pick up pace a little bit. But if you have a government of national unity where you're bringing in a few different ministers, you may be including a few little different parties, will you get more buy-in? Will you get some slightly faster reform? Obviously, what you don't want to see, and I don't think this is on the cards, but because I don't think there is forming a coalition with EFF or MK, there's key cabinet posts going to ministers from those parties, and I don't think that government of national unity is aiming towards that. And that's certainly my impression at the moment. But I mean, as I say, anything can change.
Yes, yeah. So, Michael, one of the things that we've seen, I guess it hasn't been very visible, but it's leaked out here and there, is that there's been this massive infighting inside the ANC. So, you've got this big tug of war between the very leftist populist approach and the sort of more centrist conservative approach, I guess characterized by Cyril Ramaphosa. Is it possible that now that we've had the splits and they're all in Parliament and it's government and national unity, that those fights are now going to become more visible to us as opposed to being behind closed doors?
I think it's definitely a possibility, Robin. And everybody can weigh in on the fray, and so it might seem quite a bit more fractious at times, I think, but essentially it would probably, in some ways, it would probably actually be reassuring that you would see the different elements of the ANC and kind of get a feel for how prevalent one view is over the other within an ANC sort of government.
Yes,
I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, we haven't really been here before, and I think, I don't think you can really compare the government of national unity in '94 to what we're going to have now, because my understanding is that it was almost like a constitutional agreement when the government was formed, two deputy ministers that are appointed by different parties. I don't think that's the situation now. I think even though it might have the same name, I'm not sure that the structure or the functioning is going to be exactly the same as that, So I do think we're in for some interesting times. But having said that, I mean, the market, the rand is pretty much, the rand has weakened over the last week, Robin. There's definitely we're close to 19 to the dollar. We were 18 to the dollar 2 days before elections or something like that. So the rand has weakened, but I don't think that, certainly not pricing in a doomsday scenario. We also have to remember what's going on in the rest of the world all the time. So there is an element of rand weakness that's from I think the uncertainty around our election, but otherwise, the world continues, and there's stuff going on in the rest of the world all the time. So,
and in fact, yesterday the ECB cut interest rates for the first time. Is that the crack that's going to lead everyone else down?
Yeah, Robin, sure. I don't think that everybody thought the ECB. Well, I suppose over the last month it's become apparent that the ECB was going to cut. They're very cagey about if or when they're going to cut again.
Yeah.
So they've kind of got the ball rolling. When the Fed cuts, and that's the topic of an ongoing debate. That's 10 money morsels on its own.
Exactly, and a lot of volatility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome, Michael. Well, thank you for speculating for us. Remember, it's pure speculation. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Bye bye.